What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Two Worlds Podcast. I'm Jake, and with me, as always, is the Toby to my Daydara. It's Casey. What's up, dude?
Not much, man. Fire Emblem or Harry Potter, maybe.
Naruto, but
Oh, okay.
that's all right.
Is that the dog guy and his pet dog?
No, but that is a good one for a future
Okay.
intro.
Which two are you like? You just describe them because I probably have seen them before. I just don't know names.
So I don't even know why I made myself Daydara because I hate Daydara, but he's the one that he's a part of uh the bad guy group. He's got mouths in his hands and he does explosive clay.
I guess I've not seen that. That must have been after I quit, watching any of it on Toonami.
And then Toby is like the guy, he's like the silly guy that runs around with him and is like a total goofball. He has one of the masks that swirls into like a butthole.
Oh, okay. I'm glad I'm butthole mask guy.
Yeah, but you're funny and I'm just unlikable, which I don't think is actually true, but
you're like, I just have these weird hands, and like your mouths open up on your hands.
Old butthole face and mouth hand guy.
That's gonna be the name of the episode.
All right. How was your week, man?
Not too bad. Me and the lovely girlfriend decided to celebrate Valentine's Day late, and we went to Tennessee, and it did not last near as long as what either of us had hoped for. So whatever.
Like it was just like a quick trip or something happened and you had to cut it short?
No, like it was just a quick trip. Like we got there on Friday, and then it was just like, okay, we had like dinner reservations for this fancy place, and I took a shower, and like our shower was messed up in the hotel room. So I went and told them, and they're like, oh, we'll send maintenance up. And the maintenance is like, oh yeah, the shower head's broke. We'll just either give you a new room or you can just take baths. And we're like, new room, please. So then we got our new room, but by the time we got everything moved and all that stuff, our dinner reservations were done. So we're like, okay, well, crap, because like it was like also a 20-minute drive from where we were to that thing's like, crap, we'll just get barbecue. So we went and got some barbecue, and like, we'll do it tomorrow. And then we couldn't get reservations for that place. They were done for Saturday. They were already full up, and then we're leaving Sunday. So we're like, oh, okay.
Sounds like the hotel was just trying to set up romantic baths for you guys.
I guess so. And she was not having it. So no baths for us. What about you, man? You have a good weekend?
Yeah, it was solid. I just played a lot of video games, if I'm honest. Nice. Brielle and I started watching Demon Slayer season 2. She watched season 1 on her own and liked it, so now we're getting through this together, which is cool.
Is it cool or kind of annoying where you have to now be like, I have to wait on her when I could have finished it in a day?
It's not. Like, I've read the manga.
Oh, okay.
So I already know how the show ends. I just like the animation, especially for season 2, is bonkers. Like One Punch Man season 1 good, in my opinion. And so it's just cool to see some of those fights animated and whatnot. But if it were another show, it'd be a different story, because sometimes it's like pulling teeth to get her to watch something, but some people just can't. So
yeah, I mean, that's how I realize, like, I think might have said this on the podcast before, we're set in real life, where it's like, that's how I realize I'm getting old, where I'm like, oh, I'm binging stuff is not something I'm into anymore. It's like, I want a weekly show. It's like really? One show a week, and I can just be like, well, catch you next week, buddy.
Right. And we do plenty of those too. Like I've already told you, we watch a lot of cooking shows, pretty much anything with Gordon Ramsay in it. And but the one that we're watching now, his new show, Next Level Chef. Have you seen that?
I haven't.
Okay, well, it's got like one more episode, so it's like, well, there's our weekly show gone. and we
Yeah.
finish Boba, so like that's our weekly show gone. Like we need the next one to pop up.
Well, there's that new one. I don't know if she's into it, but that's by the people that made Downton Abbey. That's going to be on HBO Max. I think it might be out already. I don't know. I'm not like that's not on my radar. I just see advertisements for it.
I don't know what that is.
It's like it's an HBO Max show. It's like from the creators of Downton Abbey, and then like in all the commercials, it's always like, "Oh, they're new money. We're old money," and then it's like they're very posh. It's like in America though, so it's just like, "Oh, get out of here."
Huh. I mean, I'd probably like it. I love
Yeah,
Downton Abbey.
yeah, that was my thought. I mean, it's just gonna be them like doing rich people stuff and then complaining that this person's not the same kind of rich they are.
Right. Man, I'll tell you what though, I really do want to watch that show coming out on HBO Max about the Lakers back in the day.
Oh, same, dude.
Man, that looks
It's gonna be
so
a good time.
good. Yeah. But anyway, if we can get into the news now. Casey's just chock full of news this week. So
Yeah, did you see all the Super Bowl trailers too? By the way, did you watch all of the? Okay, what'd you think of the old Moon Knight one?
I mean, there wasn't much to it really. It was
Yeah.
like teaser number 2. Suit still looks cool in my opinion.
And I think it's gonna be a very well shot
Yeah.
show. I mean, like that cool when he's jumping and makes the crescent thing.
Yeah,
That was like straight out of the comic books. That looked really cool.
yeah, I agree. And obviously, the Lord of the Rings one was neat, and the Doctor Strange one was pretty neat.
Yep.
So
and I mean we're getting Patrick Stewart, so that's pretty wild. I almost said Swayze, which would have been even crazier.
yeah, that would have been way out of left field.
It's like he faked his death. Like that's how serious Kevin Feige takes this stuff.
Before you get into it though, I just realized that we have a YouTube comment from our question last week about trading characters. So this one comes from Preston. Hello, Preston. He said, when it comes to swapping characters, I would love to see the Swamp Thing, Man Thing swap, but to me that means Constantine has to come over too, and I can't think of who I would swap John for in the Marvel Universe. I can only imagine Constantine swapping with Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme Constantine. And I have to say, that would be a pretty fun book, in my opinion.
It would, but I will say it's a pretty lopsided swap. Like I think it'd have to be like someone like a Blade tier, like Brother Voodoo tier instead of Doctor Strange, And plus, like if you get Doctor Strange has a much more fun personality, in my opinion, than Dr. Fate. You want Dr. Fate and Constantine, basically just being D-bags to each other. That would be a lot more fun, and like right. So I think if you do like a combo like of like Voodoo and Blade for Constantine, I think that would work.
Yeah, fair enough. But thanks for playing along, Preston. We appreciate it. But anyway, Casey, I will let you get into your news.
Speaking of like A-tier characters, Warner Brothers is developing a Wonder Twins movie for HBO Max. It's going to be written and directed by Adam. I'm going to try to read this name and not butcher it. Seitzkiel? Sure. But yeah, I think this is the same director for Black Adam. That's what it was sounding, or he had something to do with Black Adam, but I don't know who this is for. Like, I really don't get it. I don't know who's clamoring for this, why this is a thing. It seems very much like when DC tried to really push vibe. It's like, no, use characters people like. Don't give this stuff to the Wonder Twins. Like, get out of here. What do you think, man?
It is an odd choice. It kind of just depends on what tone they're going with. Like,
dark and gritty, I hope.
Yeah,
give me the same universe as the Batman.
And when I was a kid, I watched that cartoon with the Wonder
Super
Twins.
Friends.
Yeah, all the time on Boomerang. And like even as a kid, I was like, and these guys are kind of lame. And like I shouldn't have thought that as a kid. Like that's who it was made for. So I don't know. I was like, yeah, I mean the monkey's cool, but
I always thought the girl was cool too, but I was like, if me and my sister, since like I come from a family of nerds, would play Wonder Twins, I was like, I don't want to be sand. I don't want to turn into water.
Yeah, it's always a bucket of water. It's
Yeah.
like, dude, you're so lame. The coolest part was the Wonder Twins activate part.
Yeah. There was one episode where he turned into an ice monster, which I was like, that's pretty cool, but he only did it to trick the bad guy. So the bad guy's like, my ice monster attack. And then it's like, huh, it's me. And he's like, you foiled me. But did you ever see it was like the PSA where it was like the Wonder Twins doing their thing, and it's like, and then she's like, oh yeah, I can turn into this. He's like, I can turn into a bucket of water. It's like, a sponge could beat me. It doesn't even have to be an evil sponge. And like, she ends up just leaving, and then like the janitor just comes in, starts mopping.
Right. Yeah, that was like the best thing to come out of Wonder Twins.
Yeah. I mean, until this movie comes out, maybe.
Well, yeah, we'll see. Do another one. You've got okay. A lot.
So this is like, not a lot's come out about this. It's not even for sure if it's gonna be like a whole movie verse, but like some of the stuff, like it's also hard to understand for sure what's going on because you're getting it from translations. But we're getting a Shin universe. So it's Shin Godzilla, Shin Ultraman, Shin Kamen Rider, and Shin Evangelion. They're all going to be combining somehow. Some people are thinking it's just going to be product related because we already had Evangelion and Godzilla products combined, or it might be like digital ride related or anything like that. So it's not for sure known what's going to happen, but the fact that they said it, they want to do a like Marvel style universe with it though. So like if we could be getting these different companies all working together, because none of them are owned by the same production company. So like if they're all working together to do this, that could be incredible. And it could lead to what everyone wants, a Shin Gamera and the Shin universe. Like that would be outstanding. And I'm pretty excited.
So when you say Shin Evangelion, we're talking like Neon Genesis Evangelion?
Yes.
Okay.
So like, I mean, you can look it up. It's because I'm pretty sure, like 98% sure, the dude that's directing all of these, I don't know the dude's name off the top of my head. He also was one of the creators of Evangelion or
okay.
Whatever.
I think that overall that's pretty exciting, but
yeah,
here is my anime hot take. Evangelion sucks.
Like that's what's funny. It's like that seems like that's the one of the two takes. It's either this sucks or this is so good. Like my nephew's obsessed with it right now.
Dude, I question his taste. People it's like the Rick and Morty fans. The people that like Evangelion are like, oh, well, if you don't like it, you just don't get it. You know what I mean? It's like, you got to be pretty smart. It's like, shut up. It doesn't entertain me. Like, animation's amazing. The two girls, I think it's Ray and
One Cup,
and I'm forgetting the other one, but like they're fun sometimes, but the one's pretty annoying. But dude, the main character just sucks. And I don't know. I've got a few friends that like really, really love that show, and there are certain things about it I can appreciate. But dude, that being part of all this other stuff, like that's the one thing where I'm like, I couldn't give a crap about that.
That's how I feel with it too, because I've never watched it, and it's also just one of the ones where I'm like, I don't have much interest in it, but because like I'll hear Dom talk about it and I'll be like, I'm glad you like it, buddy, but it's not my cup of tea.
Right. I hope that like in this whole big universe thing, like I know you probably want lots of crossovers with all those characters, but I hope that it's one of those things where like I can watch the others and just if Evangelion stuff happens, like I can just appreciate it without having to watch all of that shit too.
Yeah, I don't know how it's gonna work if it's gonna be all animated, which I'm assuming it kind of has to be, but yeah, I mean, I'm very much interested in it. I'm just pumped for Shin Ultraman and Shin Kamen Rider as it is, so it should be pretty
Right.
great.
So I was kind of shocked that I beat you to this week because you are a much bigger fan of this out of the two of us, but Netflix confirmed that they're going to be doing a film adaptation of BioShock.
Yeah, when we got the text about that happening from our buddy Levi, I was like just working on a tractor. And so by the time I got my hands clean enough to type anything out, you'd already got it in the notes. I'm like, okay, you got this one.
Well, I don't want to be that guy, but I had already done it before
Oh,
he
okay.
texted that. But I
Okay.
wanted to share in the excitement. I didn't want to
Yeah.
be that guy that's like already saw it, you know?
Yeah. That'd be really funny. Levi's listening to this now, and just like a tear streaming from his eye. He's like, you
Right,
already
I
saw it.
know.
But no, I mean, I'm pretty pumped for it. It should, like, there's some people that are like, oh, it doesn't need to be a movie, but I think it should be pretty cool. Especially, I mean, there's so many different routes they could go.
I mean, do you
And
think it'll
it's
be just like an adaptation of that story, or you think they're going to do something totally different?
they'll do something totally different, but they shouldn't. They should just make an adaptation of that story, because no one that's played BioShock goes, make this better. If some executive decided how to make it better.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
mean, it'd just be good if they maybe streamlined a little bit more and just kept BioShock 1 and just be like, here we go. We'll shoot two endings too. The good and the bad. Bingo, bango, bongo. We're done.
Right on.
So J.J. Abrams is producing a new Star Trek movie directed by WandaVision's Matt Shackham. Pine, Saldana, Quinto, Carl Urban, Cho, and Peg are all set to return. I'm pretty mediocrely excited about this. The last Star Trek 3 was actually really, really good. If you watch that one.
I actually didn't. I watched 1 and 2 and didn't watch 3.
Yeah, I didn't like 2, so I wasn't excited for 3, but then when I was like, I'll watch it, I watched it's actually pretty awesome. Simon Pegg did a really good job. I think he wrote that one, and it's actually really, really good. And so this should be pretty good. The cast is already great.
The cast is great. I think at the time, the only reason I didn't watch it is because in the trailer they were like riding dirt bikes. And I was like, I don't need to see this one.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I think even Peg was tweeting about this, where the advertising was very poor to get the point across. Like, I'm not a big Star Trek guy, but it was the one that felt the most like a proper Star Trek out of all of them. Like, for the things that I know about Star Trek, it seemed like more in line with that versus the other ones.
Well, if
And
Simon
so,
Pegg wrote it, I believe that.
yeah, I mean, it just felt it was really, really cool, really neat. Like, there was different things about it that weren't amazing, but I'm also, like I said, not the biggest Star Trek fan. So, but yeah, I'd still recommend it. Anyone that's listening and going, maybe I'll watch a science fiction film one of these nights, and then they can go with that one.
Well, I'm one of them now.
There you go, man. Peacemaker has also been renewed for a second season, kind of surprising no one.
Right.
Have you watched any of that yet?
No, but like I said last time, I really do want to. I'm just hearing crazy awesome things about it.
Yeah. I saw the spoilers for the last episode. That was pretty fun.
Yeah, go ahead and say it. Why not?
You get the Justice League show up, but it's only shadowed outlines of Wonder Woman and Superman. Batman and Cyborg weren't allowed to be there. And then
which makes no sense.
Well, I think Batman, because they're getting rid of Batman and gonna put Batgirl in place of him, and then, and then with Cyborg, they just have a grudge, it sounds like. But and then Peacemaker walks through and he's just he basically, it's like, oh, it took you guys long enough, and then he says Aquaman screws fish, and then he's like, I'm getting really, and then it's actually Jason Momoa though, and he's like, I'm getting really sick and tired of that. And then Ezra Miller's like, well, you do, don't you? He's like, F you.
Well, I'll watch it sooner rather than later. I'm hearing too much about it at this point to
Yeah.
not.
And then this one is going to get you very excited. Paramount has officially greenlit a third Sonic movie and a Knuckles spin-off series that's going to be on Paramount Plus. I mean, this is only like the one thing that's on my mind is, are we getting even closer to a Penders-led Sonic universe?
As much as the fans really want that, I just don't think it's happening.
I mean, we can just dream, I guess.
Yeah, we can start the revolution on Twitter. Let's get a hashtag going. I'm really excited for that though. I love the first one. I'm super stoked for the second one. I think it looks great, and I think overall Sonic fans are really digging all this stuff too.
I wonder if they're gonna kind of do like how I vaguely remember Sonic X, that really like what I watched of it wasn't very good TV show. If like they're gonna slowly phase out the humans and just go like all Sonic characters. You know what I mean? Because it's just like we had to bring him in, bring James Marsden in, like the first couple movies, but then like slow, he's just gonna go away. It's gonna be Jim Carrey dealing with CGI characters from here on out.
Which is what Jim Carrey sees at all times anyway. I don't know. I think well, first of all, Sonic X, say what you want about that. That anime, like animation was amazing.
It was just like it was
and
just
the theme song will get stuck in your head for years.
It already is. Like I was just thinking about like Sonic has a gun. Sonic
#1. Yeah. Gotta go fast. But anyway.
No, but it just had the problem of a lot of animated series where it's just like, let's toss in this thing that every kid loves. Let's just also add in a small child to it that no kid will ever like. That's gonna make it great. And
right,
could not stand the main character in that show.
Fair enough. I think it's really cool that Knuckles is getting a spinoff though. Like I think that has crazy potential. I mean, you know how much I loved his spin-off miniseries of comics back in the day. They're like really hard to find right now. But if it's just him like trying to protect the Chaos Emerald, maybe add in Rouge the Bat or something like there. I don't know. I just think
Mighty
potential.
And the rest of the boys.
Yeah.
Mighty and the boys.
Then we get a chaotic spinoff.
There we go. Build up the whole universe.
Yeah.
And then finally, have it cross over with the Mario movie that's coming out starring Chris Pratt. And then we get Super Smash Bros.
I'm hoping for an Olympic Games movie.
Yeah, first the Olympic Games, and then Pac-Man's watching the Olympic Games. That's how like one of them ends, and he's like, I need to be a part of this. And then he's picks a fight, and then
right,
it's done.
See, we just did all the work for him.
Yeah. I mean, in all fairness, this is already done. This is their whole timeline. Summer Games, Winter Games, Pac-Man movie, and then Smash Bros.
And that's just phase one.
Yeah, of course. All right. So Aquaman's getting a new Black Label series called Aquaman Andromeda. It's supposed to be a psychological horror comic, and it's written by Ram V and Christian Ward. You checking this out?
Yeah, probably. I hope it's not Prestige Plus format, but who knows?
I bet you it will be.
It sounds cool though, and I think Christian Ward drawing, Atlantean psychological horror stuff is going to look incredible.
The stuff I saw already does. Like it's going to be insanely cool.
Right.
You want me to keep going, or you got?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, man. I mean, I just figured you had something to say.
I've only got two more things.
Okay, so Matt Reeves is in talk to do a Catwoman spinoff series on HBO Max. Should be pretty cool. I mean, like I think HBO Max, since they already got a Gotham PD one going, and like he's trying to get them to do a Catwoman. It's like, why wouldn't you? I already have a feeling she's gonna be the breakout character from this movie. But would you watch that?
Yeah. I mean, really anything at this point, if I'm honest.
Yeah. And Toho is gonna release a new Godzilla or a new kaiju movie. I'm trying to find the thing really quick. I have the link, but I found a better one that was a little bit more concise. According to Kaiju News outlet, they have a new film coming out. It's a new kaiju film is currently under development at Toho. The company has issued a call for extras in its official Godzilla Plus app for a new kaiju film from director Takashi Yamazaki. The upcoming project will be set during 1945 to 1947 era Japan, and filming will reportedly begin next month. That's all that's really known about this. But a lot of people are thinking it's going to be another, Godzilla-like thing, and I'm like pretty pumped for it. I mean, if it's not Godzilla, it's just a new monster. It should still be awesome.
Right. I think that's very exciting. I know how much you love that Toho.
Yeah. Old Toho blowhole, am I right?
I guess.
I don't know. Now this one is going to get you very excited. Blue's Clues movie is happening, and it's going to be like a Spider-Man No Way Home. We're getting all of the guys. We're getting Joe. We're getting Steve. We're getting Kyle. I don't know the new one's name.
I didn't know there was a new one.
Yeah, because basically it's Joe was the original one. No, Steve was the original one, and then his brother Joe took over, and then they canceled it after a while, and then this new guy came in, and that's their cousin or nephew or something. But I was just hoping, like, this is what I wrote in the notes because I thought it would be funny, is I hope they don't kill Mrs. Pepper.
The best character.
Yeah.
What was they had a baby, Paprika?
Right? I think, because I Googled it because I thought Salt was the lady when I was typing it up, but then I was like, oh, it's Mrs. Pepper, Mr. Salt, and they gave birth, I think, to Cinnamon.
Cinnamon. Am I going crazy?
I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I misread, but I thought that's what I read from the Blue's Clues Wikipedia page.
Yeah, there's both of them are the children. There's Cinnamon and Paprika.
Okay, so we were both right. Look at that.
Yeah.
But I mean, do you think they're gonna finally solve the mystery of who killed Blue's parents?
Buddy, I think that was just in some fanfic that you
wrote, but okay.
Okay, well. Oh boy.
Netflix finally announced Stranger Things season 4's release date for May 27th for the first half, and then July 1st for the second half. It's like, what's the point of doing it in two halves, especially when it's that close together? It's one thing when you go like, this first one's going to come out in April and this other one's going to come out in December. But when it's like a month apart, why?
I don't really know, to be honest. Kind of bizarre.
Yeah, but I'm pretty excited. I've been pretty excited about that since 3 years ago. So yeah, it should be pretty cool.
I mean, I've only seen the first season.
Yeah, you weren't into it?
It was good. I just didn't ever watch anymore. I mean, it's like 2 years between seasons and I forget about it.
Yeah, you're like, I'm just gonna wait the 20 years until it's all done, and then I'm gonna finally watch it.
Yeah, exactly.
When Millie Bobby Brown's 50.
All right. So this one was like the most hype I've been this week, and that's saying something because of that Sonic news.
Yeah.
We're getting a Lord of the Rings anime. It's called War of the Rohirrim. It's set 2 centuries before The Hobbit, and it's coming out in April of 2024. It's going to explore Helm Hammerhand, who is the king of Rohan, and the creation of Helm's Deep. I think it's going to be a lot of fighting, and it's going to look amazing.
Okay, so I have a genuine question. It might sound like I'm being goofy, but since it's 2 centuries, first off, how long is that really in like Lord of the Rings time? Is that like just the life of like one hobbit?
I mean, like,
It seems like
Well,
everyone lives for forever there.
okay, so Bilbo was he was like 111 when he left. He did his disappearing act and left, but the ring like prolonged his life.
Yeah.
So I'd say that's like a couple of lifetimes
Okay.
for hobbits. But
Like one for an elf at least, right?
actually, I think 200 is kind of young for an elf.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's definitely we'll probably see some characters that we're familiar with, but
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure if this was gonna be like how like with their timeline, if it was gonna be like like closer to this new show, or is it gonna be kind of like it'd be like between the last battle, right? And then like the Hobbit, not the last battle, but the first, where he cuts the dude's hand off, Sauron's hand off, and takes the ring.
oh, right. Yeah, it'll be closer to that than the new show, because the new show takes place in the Second Age, which is like way before this point.
I
So
gotcha.
I think this is just like Amazon got Lord of the Rings and now they have unlimited money, so they're just gonna put out whatever. And I think this one's gonna hit. So
I hope not. I know this sounds mean, but I hope that they end up doing like they run out of ideas and they do like the 80s style animation stuff where they're like, we're gonna do Lord of the Rings 2055, and it's just like this hobbit that's like got a space suit, and his ring like is like a gauntlet that shoots laser beams and stuff.
that makes me want to end this podcast forever.
It's like, and then like his sword glows blue because it's just a lightsaber.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, you got you've won me over now with lightsabers and frost.
Well, here's to hoping that doesn't happen.
Okay.
No,
yeah, fair enough.
Is that something you'll watch though? Is like I know you're like a fan, but
I might, but here's the main problem. It's with the Amazon Prime stuff. It's the same thing as like Disney Plus. I forget it's a thing. Like honestly, so it's just like it'd be hard. It's gonna be hard for me to remember that this
you
is
won't forget though, because I'm not gonna shut up about it.
Fair enough, man. I mean, I'll probably check out unless you go, dude, this was horrible, and I liked The Hobbit.
There's some redeeming qualities about that trilogy, just not as many as you'd want.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the first one. I was like, there's 2 more 3 hours of this? No, thank you. Like we saw that one in theaters, and I was just like, I'm good.
Yeah. That was old Peter Jackson being forced to stretch out a 200-page book, and he was like, oh gosh, I guess I'll add the river scene.
I mean, in all fairness, Peter Jackson made King Kong into a 3-hour plus movie, so I don't think he has problems stretching things out.
Right. I mean, no offense, but I'll take the Hobbit trilogy over that King Kong movie any day.
I would take you stabbing me in the knees with like bamboo stabbing rods over the King Kong movie.
Yeah, I know that's a touchy subject for you.
Yeah, it always annoys me when people talk about like I'll listen to like these kaiju podcasts and I'm like, I don't get why you guys like this. He literally spent 10 minutes just staring at a mountain.
You just don't get it, bro.
Yeah, and then they'll be like, oh man, the way Naomi Watts pretends to fall in love with the monkey, it makes perfect sense. Or when I almost said Donkey Kong, King Kong is spinning on his butt in the ice. Oh, that's so good. It's like, get out of here.
Okay, but the giant bug scene still creeps me out.
Like, no, I mean, this is the thing. It's like Peter Jackson, outside of like overshooting stuff, like he could have trimmed that movie down to 2 hours and it would have been good. But outside of overshooting stuff, like he does stuff awesome. Like the stuff when they're on Skull Island is creepy and it's cool. Outside of like, I don't like how he did the natives there, because it's just like the natives on the other one were way more interesting. This was just like, we got leftover orcs.
Right.
But you know, whatever. This isn't the Concast, sadly, so we can move on from that.
Fair enough. I can
But
do my last one if you'd like.
no, I was just gonna say really quick, scale of 1 to 10, excitement levels for Amazon owning, Lord of the Rings, and you're just getting all of the Lord of the Rings stuff because they want their own cinematic universe.
That's hard to say because
Yeah.
what if the show sucks? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, potentially the answer is 10. It just needs to be good. And they're saying that they're talking with the Tolkien estate or whatever to make sure that things are being done right. But I mean, people say that all the time about whatever they're working on.
Yeah.
I want to be hopeful. That Super Bowl trailer, it got me hyped. I have some minor gripes, specifically. Gosh, we're in a tailspin here, but just real quick, if you look at the dwarves and like the elves that we see in the quick glimpses of the trailer, the armor doesn't look as elven or dwarven, I'm putting that in quotes, as we get in the Lord of the Rings movies. And that bugs me. But I also need to remember that it's way before that time period. So I'm trying not to let it bother me too much. It's just like everything looked so good in the movies that I need that for the show. And maybe they'll give it to me. Who knows? But anyway, it's out of 10 right now. If the show sucks, that'll plummet.
Okay, I thought of a really stupid thing that's not going to happen. That's going to get you excited though, and makes you wish it would happen. What if like this does really well, and so like Netflix or Hulu or whoever decide, we need a series like this for ours, and so then they just decide to do a Redwall universe. How excited would you be for that?
Incredibly excited.
That's what I figured.
I've thought for a long time that just animated or just like good CGI like that could absolutely work, and it would be a big thing.
I mean, dude, okay, so I was in Canada one time. The one time I was in Canada, and I was like flipping through channels. They had a Redwall TV show. Like it was animated and stuff. It looked cool. I just saw commercials for it, but it was like, and it was a thing.
Right.
So I don't know.
I've seen clips of that from YouTube, and I'm like, man, I would have just devoured this as a kid.
All right, so I'll just talk about this really quick. Amazon has kind of gutted Comixology. It's just taken like a lot of people were complaining about. I didn't see much that was that different from the way I use it to now, but there's a lot of people that just hate this. They're trying to like get it to more on the I think the website's completely gone. The Comixology website just redirects you to the Amazon website. So if you're using, you have to put it all on the Kindle, all that type of stuff. They're just trying to basically go, you like comics, you're a nerd, you like reading, here's a book. And it's like, you like books, you're a nerd, here's a comic, just trying to get it all together Kindle wise. But the app really hasn't changed that much from the little bit I was on it, but I'm not on it a lot. Not really an expert in that, but it is what it is. I heard just from the grapevine that there was a rumor going around that they were very worried, like Amazon is very worried about a St. Louis comic book shop. It's a headquarters of comic books or something.
Yeah, we've got Amazon just shaking in their boots.
Yeah, they're like, we can't compete with them. We gotta just cut and run.
Right.
We're losing money on this.
I mean, as a shop owner, though, it does tickle me a bit that the digital comics thing is failing. Or not failing, it's just that one avenue of it is. But
yeah.
But I mean, that's whatever. Digital comics have been trying to be a thing for a long time at this point.
Well, it's one of those things where it's so weird because it's like, I mean, with comic shops, you compete against other comic shops, kinda, but at the same time, it's also like, if I go to your shop and then you go, oh, hey, I don't have Spider-Man Amazing Fantasy, 15 or whatever. I don't have Spider-Man #1 or whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna go to this other shop. I'm gonna get it from there. You're like, okay, I can't do anything about this. And like, and you could also then just go to another shop and be like, oh, hey, they got, this comic I want. I'm buying, they have all of Nightwing that I don't have. I'm going to get the whole stack and just take it back for my collection. With digital, you have Marvel going like, oh, we're going to run a sale to attack Comixology. And then DC's like, oh, we're going to do this thing to beat comics. It's just like, it's such a weird mismatch where they're all just competing against each other. So yeah, I mean, and I'm not surprised Comixology is like cutting back, since they're having to compete directly against Marvel and directly against DC. Like, there's no big DC shop right across the street that's like, we're slashing our prices just to go after you.
Right. Yeah, that's true. All right, my last thing. I saved it for last just because it's actually comic book related. But Tom King announced his new series this week. I don't know if you saw it, Casey, but it's called Danger Street. And he's going to be doing that with artist Jorge Fornes, who he did Rorschach with. And then Dave Stewart on the colors. But that's going to be a 12-issue series through Black Label. And it's described as a multi-character series, deeply layered, I can't read. Multi-character, deeply layered crime drama starring reimagined versions of characters like Starman, the blue one, Metamorpho, the Warlord as well, inspired by the 1970s DC series called First Issue Special. I don't want to say anything good about Tom King, but like if he's gonna do anything well, it's probably something like this. The reimagining thing worries me a little bit, especially when it comes to characters that I like Warlord, Metamorpho. But I don't know. This just seems like the most Tom King thing I've heard in a while, where he's going to take obscure 70s characters and try to make them cool again.
Yeah.
And I do that in quotes because they're already cool. But
now, well, not all of them, because he's doing the rich kids one too, and then like I think like Lady Cop or something like that. So
yeah, Lady Cop for sure. The Creeper is another one.
Oh, that sucks. I mean, I just don't want more characters being depressed. I mean, it's like it's just gonna, I don't know. I'm just not a fan of his, and as a person or really as a writer anymore, it's just kind of like his stuff is kind of all hits the same beats, and yeah, it's just like, why are you still getting work? Why do people keep buying this? But
Right.
whatever.
Right.
And on an up note, though, I have some like really cool news. Here Initiative is bringing together Marvel and DC to reprint Avengers and JLA for the first time since 2008 in honor of George Perez. The new book will be 244 pages, softbound. It'll have the story and 64 pages of bonus content. Basically, if you had the hardcover that came out a couple, back, I'm assuming 2018 or 2008, it's gonna be the same thing, but soft. It's going to be limited to 7,000 copies and will retail for $29.99. But it's all going to Hero Initiative is the way I've understood it. So like $30, 7,000 copies, whatever. Like people are complaining about it. And I just found this tweet really interesting by Richard Pace. It's at R Pace on Twitter. He did like 1 of 7. So bear with me. Marvel and DC had no interest in going through the hurdles to make JLA and Avengers happen. Through an act of will, Marie Javins, Jim Lee, Dan Buckley, and Sven Larson got their bosses to sign off on a limited run just to benefit Heroes Initiative. And some retailers and fans are angry. How dare they only do 7,000 copies? It's a charity book that is only happening because the love there is for George Perez, and all the narcissists are raging over it. Jesus fed the multitudes with bread and fish, but some people in the crowd complained because of the carbs and the smell. Chicken and potatoes would have been smarter. Who's running this outfit? Don't be that guy. Stores are going to get 1 to 3 copies. Many already insisting they'll do an auction with everything going to Hero Initiative. I'm fine with that since it'll benefit the charity more despite the short print run. It means few of these will go into the fans' hands at $30 retail price. It also means that people who would eagerly get one, then pop it on eBay for their personal profit are shut out. I'm fine with that. Everyone complaining what the print run should have been needs to shut up. This is the best that could be done. And it only happened at all because the key people love George more than their employers love money. Your fear of missing out is nothing in the face of the good Hero Initiative can do with this. I'm okay never getting my hands on a copy if this means this charity George himself helps support can in turn support others in need. Some people really need to check themselves. So I really like that. I like the fact that they're doing this. I think it's really cool. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I think personally, the one thing I would say is Heroes Initiative has a website that they can just sell stuff on. They should just sell it there, maybe do auctions there versus it trying to do all the logistics of getting it sent to shops. But that's my one thing.
Okay. I get where he's coming from, but I disagree.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to lay out all the issues with this. It should be based on orders, not limited run. Because, first of all, this is being put out through Diamond Comics. So I put in for some. Who knows if I'm going to get them?
Yeah.
And if shops are only getting 1 to 3 copies, how are you supposed to decide who gets it? Because I've already had more than 1 to 3 people ask me for a copy of this. It's an absolute nightmare for shops. Now, I realize some shops are just going to say we're not taking orders on it and they're going to sell it for whatever. But man, it should have just been an open order. However many are asked for, that's how many they're going to print, and that much money will be going to Heroes Initiative. I think all they did was put a cap on how much this charity could have made. It's really frustrating for a shop owner. Really frustrating.
I get that, but I mean, it's also like we don't know all the logistics they had to go through. It could be Marvel and DC being difficult and say, yeah, we're only allowing this many. You know what I mean?
Well, then fuck Marvel and DC.
Yeah, I mean, but this way at least it still gets released. I still think it'd just be better off on their website versus trying to deal with the logistics of all of this and also going through Diamond.
Yeah, it should be through Hero Initiative only.
Yeah.
I'm actually pretty furious that we even have to deal with this at all, because there's not one part of this is going to be fun for shops, not a single part.
Yeah, except for the shops that are like up the price and making all the money.
Well, some people are dicks and try to exploit charity, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's it for our long-winded news section. So now we're going to take our break, and when we come back, we'll talk comics. So we'll be right back. All right. What are we talking about this week, man?
I mean, I don't know. I'm old cursey boy.
Cursey boy?
Yeah, you said 2 curse words right before. I'm like, oh man, I gotta edit this.
Well, that's how frustrating it is.
I know, buddy.
I don't know. Yeah, people say they know, but they don't really know.
Well, I mean, I know as in I listen to what you say.
Right.
Sassy pants, I swear.
Dude, I have to be sassy about it because it's gonna be a fucking nightmare.
I know. I mean, how big of a following does that book honestly have that you have people coming in going, oh, I need this?
I mean, I would say 80% of my customers are Marvel and DC fans, like exclusively. To get that book, well, one, the hardcover's not in print anymore. That book isn't in print anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the single issues, I mean, before he announced his retirement and his health problems and all that, those issues were selling for 15 or 20 bucks a piece.
I know that one where it's got Superman on the front with the hammer and shield sells even more than that.
Right. I mean, right now it's probably 50 a piece, if not more. So it's just like, you can't get that book in any form at a good price. And then they come out and cap it, and they let, of all people to handle it, Diamond. Just like, give me a fucking break, dude. Like, like the more news that comes out about this book, the worse it gets.
Just watch, dude. You're gonna get yours, and you're like, oh yeah, I got 5 copies, sweet. And you pull out, and it's just like they're all just like glued together, but they're like all cut terribly, dude. Like it's all like cut forms like Superman, you know. So you pull it out, just like you're like.
I think it's hilarious that you think I'm getting any copies of that book.
I know. I'm just saying that's how you're gonna be getting them,
right?
Because Diamond sucks that hard,
right? All right. Well, I mean, we could bash Diamond forever, but I guess we can actually.
I thought of one more dumb thing to say too.
Okay.
They could just be like, you get this thing and it says, you complain about us a lot on your podcast. Like you just get a note. We've told 10,000 people there's only one copy here. You got nothing though. You're like, what? And like the mob shows up.
Yeah, the huge mob just ready for that one book.
But then, you know, it's Diamond, so they actually told it, and like they're all at Dairy Queen because Diamond's not very good at his job.
that would be a FedEx for delivering it.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right. Welcome back, folks. If you wanted to hear Jake continue to complain about the whole JLA Avengers shenanigans, I'll say, check out our YouTube channel. That is just Two Worlds Podcast on YouTube. Right now, Casey and I are going to talk about some comics. So, Casey, which books did you read this week?
Okay, so I first got through last week's stuff of Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, number 4. Strange Love Adventures, number 1. Black Manta, 6 of 6. Batgirls, number 3. Mighty Morphin, number 16. The Amazing Spider-Man, 88 Bay. Hotel, The Joker, number 12. Maestro, number 1. Devil's Reign, 4 of 6. And then this week's Devil's Reign, Superior 4, number 2. The Crimson Cage, number 3 of 5. Hulk, number 4. Power Rangers, number 16. What's the Furthest Place from Here, number 4. The Amazing Spider-Man, 89. Aquaman the Becoming, 6 of 6. Batman the Night, 2 of 10. Iron Fist, number 1. The Flash, 779. And Primordial, number 6. What about you, buddy?
I've got Wonder Woman, 784. Nightwing, 89. King Shark, number 6. Hellboy, Bones of Giants, number 4. Primordial, number 6. The Flash, 779. Aquaman the Becoming, number 6. Iron Fist, number 1. And Batman the Night, number 2.
Right on. Okay, so I'm gonna just really quick jump, and you can like hop in on any of this stuff if you are like, oh yeah, I read Hawkeye. I want to talk about that too, but I'm just gonna really quick run through the stuff that I read from last week. But Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, number 4. It's okay. It's fine. It's not that I would ever be like, yes, you guys need to be reading this. It's just like, if you like Kate, well, you probably would enjoy it, but it's nothing, like I said, nothing great about it. I'm gonna do Strange Love last because it was fun and stupid. Black Manta, number 6. I'm glad it's over, and I'm just excited for Aquaman. You know, nothing like, again, it's just like Black Manta's cool, but his coolness can only like propel a book so much before you just get really tired of it. So I'm hoping Aquaman's gonna be better.
Real quick, did that end in the same spot that The Becoming ended?
No, I wish. That would have been so much cooler.
Yeah.
This one just kind of ends, just has like a regular old ending. But Batgirls 3, I liked it. I like the art. I'm enjoying the story. It's just a fun time. Mighty Morphin, this is like pretty much the end of the Eltarian War. It's cool. We get a lot of neat stuff. Some characters from the trade that you got me for Christmas show up, or at least one of them does, which I'm like, I thought that his reality got erased. I don't know how he's here, but they're all knew who he was. So I'm like, I'm missing so much, but it's still a lot of fun. Spider-Man, it's Enter the Slingers, and it's 88 Bay, and this is kind of a letdown. It's like the old 90s Spider-Man, like alternate identity guys that all had really cool costumes are there, and I don't know, wasn't into it. Hotel, I liked it. This was a fun, cool, kind of creepy book. You know, it's a good time. If you like horror, I would recommend it. The Joker. Did you read Joker?
No, I actually didn't.
Oh, dude, you need to. This was actually really, really good. Punchline was as bad as normal. Like, you know, you can't be expecting too much from it. But I remember reading this. There's a big reveal, and I would love to talk about it with you, but I can't. But there's a big reveal of a character that I actually called. And then I was like, after another book came out, I'm like, oh, it can't be this character. And, you know, I'm not trying to spoil it for you, but I'm like, but then it's revealed, oh, Casey was right. So I'm like, how the heck does this work in between these two books now? But yeah, I'm into it. Yeah, it's good. It's still like Punchline sucks. Maestro is really, really good. Especially if you read this other ones, you need to be reading this one. It just kind of continues the story. If you just want to find Peter David book, read it. And then Devil's Reign. You read Devil's Reign, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I liked it. I mean, it's still just kind of dumb to me with the whole basically Superhuman Registration Act, but it's not. It's completely different this time. But the reveal that it was like Tony Stark was actually Chameleon and stuff. I thought that was funny.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was fine. But then the Strange Love Adventures. So this is such a stupid book. In this, like, you have Harley Quinn telling a story about how she almost got married to Black Adam, but then Joker came a calling, so then she went back to Joker, and then you had Grodd trying to learn how to be romantic, so he seeks out Iris's help to romance his gorilla girlfriend.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's so silly. He's like, I need to, like, she's obsessed with human culture, so I need someone like that can show me how, you know, what romance in the human way is, and like, you guys are like the most, you know, perfect, you know, a human couple I could think of. So, and they're like, oh, thank you. And so like they take Grodd out on a date with his girlfriend, and it's so stupid. It's so funny. Then we got Peacemaker doing a Valentine for his eagle. The Blue Beetle one, it's like, it's fine. There's not much to it though. And then there's like a fun little Shazam one that, again, it's like, it's fine. It's not stupid enough. You know what I mean? Like, you want it as dumb as possible. But then I think it's by Devin Grayson. That's the one that I would say is like, yeah, there's one called Alfred, or it's Alfred in Service, and it's by Devin Grayson. And this one's actually really good. It's just about, you know, Alfred's love for his kids, basically, and all that stuff. And it's pretty nice. And then the Sergeant Rock one, kind of dumb. And then Riddler has one where it's just, oh, we're both losers on Valentine's Day, Batman. Let's drink together. But yeah, no, I mean, I would recommend it mostly just for the Gorilla Grodd story. It's so silly.
I'm kind of mad because normally I would read these specials, and then the one time I don't, you said it's great.
Yeah, I mean, like there's some that are like I said, the Sergeant Rock and like some of the other ones are like they're fine, but that Grodd one, I was just like, because like that's the second story. Because like the Harley one, I was like, this is dumb, and then I was like, this is really dumb. That's the point. Okay, cool, I'm here for
it. Gotcha.
Okay, so now I'll start with the Devil's Reign Superior 4, and this is by Zach Thompson and David Tinto on the art. And so yeah, we get Dr. Doom, Dr. Ock going against the this team up of Doc Ock and stuff, and he's just better than them, and they all bend the knee to him except main Doc Ock, and he gets put away in prison. Looks like he breaks out next time, and he's gonna be going against all of them. It's fine. Like, I don't know, this is like pretty, I wish this should have just been a one shot. They should have just been like, oh, look, here you go. But I'm also not a Doc Ock fan. I think if Dan Slott was writing this, he would make Doc Ock way more powerful. And like, I don't know. I just never thought, I've never liked Doc Ock as a character. And so this just is not doing it for me. So for that, 6 out of 10.
Okay. I will do Wonder Woman 784. This is by Michael W. Conrad and Becky Cloonan, with Marcio Takara on the art. And we get some more Shining Knight Wonder Woman action. But Wonder Woman like finds the person that's making all these glass duplicates. I forget what he calls himself. It's like the Image Master. It's not Mirror Master, but it's something like similar to that. But anyway, he just like traps her in like this pocket mirror world and like tries to convince her to stay there with him for some reason. I don't know. It's kind of weak, but then it gets back to the duel with Shining Knight whenever she breaks out of that, and they're fighting for a while, and then Deadman shows up, and she's got the lasso of truth around him, and so between that and Deadman, they're like, time to find out who it is. And I wasn't ready for it. This is not what I thought at all. It wasn't Sir Justin, but it was Siegfried, who was her love interest during the Asgard stuff a couple arcs back. So he got pulled through time by Dr. Psycho somehow to do this. But anyway, they get into a hospital because obviously fighting all the duplicate Wonder Womans and then the actual Wonder Woman, he was pretty beat up. But now this has got me thinking it's going to be pretty weird with Steve. It's like, what's going to happen with this weird she clearly loves both of them sort of thing. But it is what it is. And then Dr. Psycho still has a Wonder Woman duplicate. And so I think he's going to try to do something with that duplicate while Diana's off doing like the Trial of the Amazon stuff. And then he is also resurrecting Villainy Inc., which I had never really heard of before, but he says the new Villainy Inc., which leads me to believe there's an old one. But whatever. And then the last part was just the final part of the Artemis backup, and it's all just leading to the Trial of the Amazon stuff. But yeah, anyway, despite the like Image Master stuff kind of being filler, I love the stuff with Shining Knight. I put that in quotes, and I'm really looking forward to where it goes, both during the Trial of the Amazons and afterwards too. And hopefully the creative team stays. But I liked it a good bit. So I'll go ahead and give it a 7 out of 10.
Right on, man. I can't wait for Tom King to write all of the Shining Knights.
Don't say that, because he would do that book, and a vigilante as well, like Cowboy Vigilante.
Yeah. Okay, so next up is The Crimson Cage, 3 of 5 by John Lees and Alex Cormack. And the art in this is outstanding. The way they do the territory stuff is really cool. The main dude basically sold out his best friend to keep his title longer and help his reign, and and in the process his friend just got brutally murdered, got his head chopped off, and it was gruesome. And like, this art is just so good for the gruesome stuff. And like, they have a wrestling match in it too, and I mean, like, the way they do them wrestling each other just looks outstanding. I really like this book. It's a lot of fun as a wrestling fan. I think if you're a horror book fan, you'd also enjoy it. And if you're just a comic book fan, you want some good art, you'd enjoy it for that too. I think it's good storytelling. I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Nice. You can go ahead and do another one. I know you got a couple more than me.
So next up would be the Hulk, and this is by Donnie Cates and Ryan Otley. And this is odd. So basically, like, it shows what happened to the mutants in this other world that Bruce is in now. And it's just like so like Tony Stark died of liver failure because he was in hiding and he drank himself to death basically. And so then they took a bunch of his tech, it looks like, and then they killed all of the mutants, attacked them with like these Iron Man sentinels, and also nuked them just to make sure that they never came back. And so then Hulk's like, well, what about, he's like, oh, what about Moon Knight and Blade? And the other Bruce is like, those are just words, I don't know what this means. Which it's weird to have Blade and Moon Knight be like, okay, I get no mutants and no Tony Stark, but what about Blade and Moon Knight, the two best superheroes to stop an evil president? Like, come on. But yeah, so I mean, Hulk jumps down there and he's fighting them, but like their weapons are really good, so he has to amp the power up. And then Thunderbolt Ross is calling up other Bruce, and he's like, call off your thing because I got the kid here, and I'm gonna toss him down there if you don't. And so he's like trying to tell him to stop, and he's like, and this is a big spoiler, but I thought it was just kind of a neat twist. And he goes, you have to stop because this kid, he was my assistant for a long time, and then he got bit by a radioactive spider, and I thought he could be like a thing to help fix everything. And then other Bruce is like, what type of radioactivity was this spider? And then it just cuts. This is the last page.
Oh,
that's how
nice.
it ends. I'm like, yeah, I'm just like, this is pretty rad. I mean, I'm really enjoying this book, even though it's just like Donny Cates is like, oh yeah, let's ignore everything that happened over the last 3 years and we're doing our own thing, which that's really annoying. You could have just done this alongside it, then had that be your multiverse book or whatever nonsense. But other than that, I like it. So this is another 8 for me.
I'm glad you're liking it.
You need to get back on it, man.
I know, but like I've literally sold out of every issue, and I let go of my copy because I'm a nice guy. So it's like, it's issue 4 at this point. Do I just trade weight?
Yeah, I mean, if you guys ever get like back like the second runs or whatever, if they do the whatever you call it, I'm blanking on words.
Just additional printings.
Yes, like a second or third printing of it, and just read it while you're sitting there, and then catch up that way because it is pretty outstanding.
Yeah. All right. Next, I will talk about Nightwing, number 89. It's written by Tommy Taylor and Bruno Redondo.
Tommy Taylor sounds like a toy from the 70s. It's like, we got our Tommy Taylor toy set. And
you good?
I mean, yeah, I was just thinking about that.
No, it's fine. I just said it that way because he's just kind of getting old. But anyway, it starts off with like a flashback story. New 52 era Nightwing, because he's got the black and red on, and Batman go to this cave, and inside the cave is a young Jonathan Kent. And it's just weird because like they find him, and then Batman goes outside, takes off his cowl, looks up in the sky, and on his little headset goes, Superman, we found him. It's just like, I know that's like a weird thing to complain about, but like if you're going to take off the cowl, and why not just like continue to keep it personal and say, Clark, we found him, or keep the cowl on, remain Batman, and say, Superman, we found him.
Yeah,
that's just like a crazy minor gripe that most people are going to be like, shut up, Jake. But
no, that's accurate though, because Batman isn't the type, he's not Spider-Man, and Spider-Man movies where there's like, I have to take my mask off every chance I get. Like he knows the importance of a secret identity.
Right. But at the same time, like I realize that Clark is his best friend, and if they're gonna, if it's gonna be personal, then
But he also doesn't need to have a comm link either. That's another thing that kind of annoys me.
I know.
He could just say, "Yo, Soups,
Mm-hmm.
get over here."
Right.
And Superman's like, "Why are you talking like that?"
But then Superman comes down and hugs him, and I don't know, John just talks about how he knows he wasn't supposed to fly, but he wanted to fly anyway, and then he got lost and whatever. So uh Dick takes off his mask too and like gives him a sucker and then like juggles for him while Clark and Bruce talk. um
John was just like, "I'm not this young, you idiot. Stop it. I don't like juggling, okay?"
We then go back and to current times, and John is talking to I don't know how it works, like hologram Clark at the Fortress of Solitude. It's not really him, but it's like an AI of him, you know what I mean? And they have a conversation, but John's like, "Yeah, this isn't the same, so whatever." And then the little robot there, Calex, is that his name? Calex, that's what it is. The robot that watches over the fortress sees this and goes to Dick's apartment and it's just like, "Mr. Grayson," and he and Babs are sleeping. It's like in the middle of the night. So Calex just breaks into the apartment while they're sleeping and wakes them up. And he's just like, Kal-El asked me to seek you out if his son ever needed you, and he needs you now. I guess Kal-El saw that John was sad and needed to talk to somebody, so
I like to think that Batman, because he keeps tabs on Nightwing. If he's like, he hears that while he's like watching over Nightwing sleeping, he just has like a tear coming down his eye, like, why not me?
I know, right? Anyway, so that happens, and then John goes and meets up with his boyfriend, whose name I'm blanking on at the moment. Yeah, I guess it's not important. Anyway,
Pink-haired boy.
Yeah, exactly. Those two go meet up with Dick Grayson because Dick's giving away money or whatever, and John's boyfriend is reporting on it. But then some bad guys show up and start killing like superpowered people. And now Nightwing and Superman are going to team up and stop that. And Superman picks up like an energy trail, and it leads to LexCorp. And that's how it ends. This is part 1 of a 2-part crossover. Can't wait to read the next issue of Son of Kal-El to see how it wraps up. Yeah, I hate how these characters are written. It seems so off to me, and it bugs me. So same crap as always when it comes to this book. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna the art as always is like 10 out of 10. But overall I think the story was stupid, so I'm gonna give it a 4.
I have a question. Like, this isn't me crapping on it or anything, but I never, not really a question, just even a comment, but it's like, how does Nightwing and Babs, how are they able to sleep at night? You think that they would have like times throughout the day that they could sleep, but they're supposed to be out saving the day at night. And also, why is Babs there when she should be with with her kids?
Right. I don't know. I guess Tom Taylor just really wanted to show them in their Teen Titans and Batman pajamas because that's what they were wearing. And I don't know. It's just like he seems like he wants us all to see just like how caring and wholesome of a writer he is, but these character moments just feel off. They don't feel like good character moments. They're just,
I mean, that's been my problem with Tom Taylor for a while, where he tries really hard for like character moments where it's just like it's not earned. I think that's a big part of it. It's just kind of like, oh yeah, like, I mean, just taking Dark Ages for instance, it's like, oh, you're killing Nick Fury, okay, but we've not had really any time with him. You're not actually earning the, oh no, this character died type of thing. And it's the same thing with like his son of Kal-El. It's like, oh yeah, you're just having him do these things. You're not actually giving us any, nothing for him to work off of. It's just kind of like, here it is. Don't you love me?
Well, the answer from me is no, I don't.
All right, but my next book, it's going to be Power Rangers number 16, and this is by Ryan Parrott and Francisco Mortarino, and this is just a lot of fun. I mean, it's weird because this is like basically the wrap up of the big war. Like the last one was like, oh yeah, we won. This is like the aftermath of it basically, and it's really cool. It's funny because like I stopped liking Power Rangers earlier than most because I was the youngest kid. So like my older brother stopped liking it, I stopped liking it. But now like that I've been rereading this stuff or reading these comics and stuff, it's just kind of like hanging out with like a really old friend you haven't seen in years. And like at first like this is a little weird. But then like as I've been reading them more and more, I'm like, I missed you, man. This is really great. I like this a lot. So yeah, it's an 8 out of 10. I'm really enjoying it.
Good. Okay. King Shark number 6. It's written by Tim Seeley and art by Scott Collins. It's the finale of this miniseries, and basically the weird like mushroom fungus invader who has taken over Man King or King Man, whatever he goes by. It slowly like infected the other animal champions as well. So King Shark and Orca and Defacer and Bawana Beast are just fighting all this stuff, and it's kind of goofy. But ultimately, King Shark saves the day. And then we get some post stuff where King Shark works out his deal with Waller about being on the squad, but basically he wants Defacer to go free, so she doesn't have to be in jail anymore because they're besties. And Waller is typical Waller and is like, you don't have any leverage, I hold all the leverage. And King Shark eventually makes her agree to those. And then at the end, they go on vacation together. Basically, King Shark and Defacer. King Shark comes by on a helicopter and he's like, I'm heading to Hawaii to visit my mom. You want to come? We can have an actual trip together. And so she agrees to that. And they kind of fly off into the sunset or whatever. So it was like, it wasn't a very good issue overall, if I'm honest. It was just like, oh yeah, our 6 issues is up and now we gotta just like wrap everything up and give everyone a happy ending. So
I got you.
It was rushed and not that well put together, but I mean, I still had a lot of fun overall with the series, as you've known. So while I give like the issue a 6, I think overall the series is probably a solid 7.
Nice, man.
If anybody just wants a dumb fun book or just really likes King Shark, check it out.
Are there a lot of King Shark fans out there, or stands as people call them?
I don't know. I feel like there were after Suicide Squad 2 came out.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, my next book is What's the Furthest Place from Here, issue 4 by Tyler Boss and Matthew Rosenberg. Book's weird, and I think so there's this joke that had me laughing. They go to this carnival and they're looking around, and then there's a kissing booth that says it's called Something is Kissing the Children instead of Something's Killing the Children. Like, hey, they're gorgeous. Like, hi. And it just had me dead.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, this is like a fun, kind of cool. I mean, honestly, it's a hipster book. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you look at the art, you look at the characters. This is just like reeks of hipsterness, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. I'm hooked. I would say, people should be reading it if they're interested in weird stories that are kind of like nothing I've ever read before. So that's where like the coolest part about it. It's like this is fresh, it's new, it's neat ideas, and it's really cool. And it's like one of those things where it's like I really don't know how to talk about it because it's so different, so weird. Like even Saga wasn't this levels of weird because like Saga I could still be like, oh, it's like Romeo and Juliet, but they lived and it's in Star Wars. Like that's like an easy way to talk about with this. It's like they're a bunch of kids. There's no adults. There's these weird things that cover their faces that I don't know what they are. And then they have records and like it's like what are you having a stroke? Like that's how I feel when I talk about that book, but it's still
Yeah.
really enjoyable. I'm gonna give it 8.5. I think people should be reading it.
All right. Next, I've got Hellboy, The Bones of Giants, #4. It's written by Mike Mignola and Christopher Golden, and the art's done by Matt Smith. Again, final issue of the series. It's Hellboy fighting a bunch of undead frost giants, which is always fun. He's got the help of some dwarves. And yeah, in the end, he's able to separate from Mjolnir. And then he parts ways with the dwarves, and he's basically just like he just walks off away from everybody at the end, and they're like, Abe says, Hellboy, promise me that next time we'll go somewhere warm. And he's like, Bali, baby, we're going to Bali. And then he walks off into the sunset. I know I've said that twice, but that's just what it is at the end of the series.
He came back and he's like, Bali, baby, Bali, and he goes back to walking.
But yeah, it's cool. I mean, the fight scenes against the giants was incredible. And I'll take Asgard stuff with Hellboy any day. So I give this issue and probably the series as a whole an 8.
I'm a little disappointed that because I mean, like Hellboy, which it's like you're a new Hellboy fan, but you're still like you become like a pretty hardcore one. It's like that plus Asgardian stuff. Like I was hoping for at least a 9.5 from you.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like Hellboy can get out there sometimes, but to like give him Thor powers essentially, it's just like it's kind of tough to come back from that at a certain point. You know what I mean?
I got you, man.
I mean, an 8 is still a strong score.
I know. I was just saying, it's like, man, this could be right up your alley all the way to a strike, but it sounds like it was a 7-10 split at the end.
Yeah.
All right. So next up, it's The Amazing Spider-Man #89. This is by Pat Gleason and Mark Bagley on the art. And like, I'll be honest, I'm not a big Bagley fan. And so this art really took it out for me personally throughout because it's just like, I don't know. This just does not look that good to me.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, especially when you have Arthur Adams doing the cover and then you go in, it's Bagley on the interiors. I don't know. Just not my cup of tea. The story itself is kind of neat. Like Spider-Man's coming back into it, and there's some, there's stuff going on with Ben Reilly and stuff. And I'm excited still for what's going on with this series. I'm enjoying it. And so yeah, for that, I'm probably gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10 because the story itself is good. It's just, yeah, I'm not feeling it. And it's also like this does not need to be a weekly book at all. Like they could have easily, because like they could have combined this with the last one where like, because like they cut back to that last issue where it's her breaking out, or not breaking out, but leaving where she was from, killing all those people. Same stuff, but just slightly different this time. It's like, don't need that, especially for like if you're gonna do a weekly, give me all new stuff every single week. Come on, don't just be like, no, we're gonna redo stuff too for this $3 book or whatever. All right, now I'm just good on what we did together, man.
Yep, same.
All right, what order you want to do?
I'll defer to the lady. You choose.
Okay. Just because my name's Casey does not mean I'm a lady. But Aquaman the Becoming, we'll do The Flash, Iron Fist, Primordial, and then Batman.
Sure. All right. So Aquaman the Becoming #6. Lots of things wrapping up this week. Written by Brandon Thomas and art done by Serge Acuna and Diego Olortegui. I thought it was fine. Glad that it's over. Ready for Aquaman. That's pretty much all I have to say about it.
That's not the same. Like the way that the writer writes Aquaman with Jackson is awesome, but then like the rest of the character stuff, I don't really care that much about. And the end had me pretty darn stoked. Like I loved how Aquaman's just trying to help Jackson, even going to Black Manta for it, because that's what he's doing. He's not just going there just to drink with him.
Yeah,
but
no, that the ending was the best part for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, I will say this too. I never watched Young Justice really, so I don't have much, knowledge of Jackson. And so like this is actually like a pretty good, in my opinion, like way of getting into Jackson, because like I've never once disliked the character. I've just disliked kind of the story, if that makes any sense. So it's like I just don't like. There's like the story could be better, but Jackson's still pretty cool. So if you're like, I want to get into this character, I would say jump onto this, even though like the main thing, it's a good character read. I'll say that.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely nothing wrong with the story. It's just, it's fine.
Yeah. So what are you rating that, man?
I'll give the issue like a 6, but the series a 7.
I'm at a 6.5 for both. It's just like it never really knocked my socks off outside like the first issue, like all the regular, the two Aquaman together stuff. I was like, yeah, everything else is like,
right.
But so next up is going to be The Flash, and there's a whole list of people on this book, so I gotta try to find the page. But I know Jeremy Adams is writing it for sure, and
I have it if you'd like.
You do? Oh, I think I found it. Fernando Passarin and Matt Ryan on the art for pages 1 through 2, 7 through 9, 12 through 19. Brent Peoples for pages 3 through 6, 10 through 11, 20 through 22. So what were your thoughts on this, man?
It was pretty entertaining overall. I really like the stuff at the end with the Spectre, because it just felt like, an early 2000s DC book. And honestly, the art style kind of looks like an early 2000s DC book as well. Also, the kid stuff was better when Flash was involved, because I like how he interacts with them as opposed to them just being on their own and taking out Mammoth for no reason. Also, maybe it's because I'm only jumping in on this arc, but I didn't know that was Animal Man's daughter.
You didn't know until this issue.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I mean, like, because I don't think it ever said her last name. It might have, but I don't remember it. Like that would have been a kind of a tipping, oh yeah. But I never remember her ever being as much of a jerk as she was in this.
Right.
But yeah, so she just like when she does the deer thing, I'm like, is that what I think it is? Because they always talked about her having power. Like when they're in the last issue, like 2 with powers. I'm like, wonder who her, parents are that she would have powers. And then because I expected it to be like a villain, related thing.
Right.
And then
Sure.
I was like, oh, that's cool.
But them like clearing him a path as he's counting to 10 was a pretty cool like sequence.
Yeah.
And I like the Gem World stuff. It was kind of silly, those leaguers getting tossed around, but it's mind control, so whatever. What can you do?
Yeah. Now I will say, I'm just curious for your opinion, since you are the Gem World, gym guy. How do you feel about, like, it seems like it was just kind of like them going, Gem World, Eclipso uses a gym, let's just toss them together. Or was it like actually pretty okay as a Gem World? Okay.
It was just they needed a different place to be.
Yeah, fair enough. But I liked it overall. I liked seeing Buddy's daughter. I hope Buddy Baker pops up in it. That'd be super cool. I don't think he will, but a boy can dream.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it 8.5. I really am enjoying this new Flash series.
Yeah, I'm at about a 7.5, but it's good enough for me to like want to keep reading it, and it's good to like want to read Flash again.
Yeah, especially after like when you picked up the first issue, you're like, I'm good, and then I was like, it actually got good, man.
Yeah, and it did. I'm glad. All right. So next we've got Iron Fist #1. Um, here we go. It's written by Alyssa Wong with art by Michael. I don't know how to say that. YG or Yeeg, however you say
Yeah,
it.
that'd be my guess.
But anyway, I was talking to Casey about this earlier. I was ready to not like this book because I'm a salty comic book fan that I wanted Danny Rand to be Iron Fist, but I actually liked it quite a bit. This is full spoilers. Most people knew already, but just wanted to warn you just in case. But Swordmaster is the new Iron Fist. And dude, I gotta say, the costume they gave him is chef's kiss.
Mm-hmm. It was awesome. Like the only real downside to this book for me is I don't like how Danny is drawn.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else I think looks cool. Danny just looks terrible, and at times, like, and even the colors, they don't really do him justice. Like he'll turn, brown hair, blonde, all these different different colored hair throughout the fight. So I'm like, man, you need to be more busy fighting instead of changing your hair color, bro. But
Yeah, I mean, he's just kind of just drawn like a high school jock,
yeah, but I thought it was neat. Like, first off, the way Danny's written is really good, and Swordmaster, I didn't know that it was going to be him. I didn't know. I didn't pay attention to any of the spoilers going into this. So I was like, oh, that's so cool that they brought him back, because I remember after we read that, we both were like, boy, I like that guy. It's too bad they killed him.
Right.
So yeah, I thought that was cool.
Plus, it sounds like Danny's going to be pretty much involved throughout this series, which makes me happy.
Yeah, same.
What would you give it?
I'm really thinking probably 8.5, but closer to 9. It's just the art kind of was throwing me, but other than that, I really loved it.
Yeah, I'm at a 9 myself. That was one of the best ones I read this week.
And speaking of best ones we read this week, Primordial #6 by Jeff Lemire and Andre Sorrentino. I mean, I've loved like every issue except for maybe the first one. I wasn't blown away by, but everyone after that, the art in it's so cool. The story, it's so weird, but at the same time, like, but by the time I was done reading it, I'm like, good. I'm happy. Like, I was just made me, joyful, which is a good thing to feel from a comic book. What do you think, man?
I loved the last and second to last pages, but how we got there made no sense. Like,
No, it's a bit out there.
There's just nothing is explained, honestly.
Nope, it really isn't. But like, I don't know.
It bugs me. It bugs me. Like, it's good, but like give us something that kind of makes sense. Like, just say the ship is God and can do anything. Like, give me something. It's just the monkey's like, I can fix it, and then it's the end.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, with this type of book where it doesn't really explain anything throughout, we're just kind of having to connect the dots on our own and all this type of stuff. For me personally, I don't need the
There's
over
nothing to
explanation.
connect. There's nothing to connect. It's
just in everything that they've done so far, it's all been kind of out there and weird. So it's like this kind of stays true to it. It's one thing where they're then like, no, this is how it is now. But like his whole book has just been out there and weird, except for maybe the first issue. Like as soon as the dog and monkeys went in outer space, it's just like Andre Sorrentino is going to do some crazy stuff with art. You're going to love it. And the story's going to be weird, but you're going to love it. And I'm like, okay, you're right. Good job.
We're gonna be way different on this. I'm giving this issue a 5.
Yeah, I'm at a 10. Like I said, I loved it.
All right, and then finally we've got Batman the Knight #2, and this is written by Chirp Zdarsky, and art is done by Carmine Di Giandomenico. Casey, what do you think of this one?
It was all right. It was fine. One thing I think is kind of funny that the first page where it's like the dude comes home, but since the way they did the art, they did like sequence, so it's like, oh, he's here and now he's here. But I read it as like this dude came home to his husband, and then he walks in, he sees like their son tied up and blood everywhere. So I'm like, he's just like, husband, what did you do? Like, and then I had to reread it. I'm like, oh, okay, no, I'm just stupid because he's like, Cheryl, he's like, if it's too late to go out, we can always order in. And then he like looks in there and it's just his son's tied up, and he's just like, oh no.
Wait, we read that very differently.
I know. Like I said, I reread it and I was like, oh, okay, I'm just stupid.
I actually thought it was cool. I think it's neat, Bruce dealing with the realization that, oh, if I want to stop criminals, I kind of need to figure out how to be a criminal and get in that mindset. So he teams up with this gal from Paris, and yeah, I don't know. I thought it was neat. He's trying to stop this. I don't know, which I guess a serial killer,
Yeah,
right?
he's a serial killer.
And that all kind of ties in by the end of it. But overall, I really liked it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just stuff we've gotten before, though. Really, it's like, oh, he's being trained by this person so he can learn to sneak, and the only difference is this time now he wants to make out with his teacher, and it's just like, oh yeah, so that's why he likes Catwoman, bringing back his old trainer vibes.
Yeah. I mean, it may be stuff we've gotten before, but Zdarsky knows how to write a character, and it's
That's
still
true.
enjoyable, even if we've gotten
Yeah.
it before. So, yeah, for me, that one is a 9.
Yeah. See, this is a 7.5 for me. It's perfectly fine. I think people will enjoy it for sure, but it's not reinventing anything that we've gotten about 10 times already.
All right. Well, what are you excited for next week?
Oh, I am excited for. I've not even looked over the email yet, so this will be good.
Oh,
Action Comics, for sure. I know Saga comes out, so that one, and Action Comics. That's I'm gonna go Ghost Rider also, because about time we get another Ghost Rider book. Let's hope it's good.
I hope so too. And for me, I'll do Task Force Z for sure. Probably Silk, number 2. And then man, I would say Action Comics, but just to throw something different out there, I'll go DC Vampires. There's a lot out this week, but
there really is.
But lots of good stuff. So all right, Casey, Fantastic Four time, and I took over again.
I know. It's gonna be your thing now.
Yeah. One of us has to be the idea man.
Right?
All right, Casey. Love was in the air this week with Valentine's Day. So give me your 4 favorite comic book couples.
I always liked Wally and Linda, because those two, it's just like, this is like a common theme. It's always like, it's never like, oh man, are they gonna work? Like the one time like Linda left them for a little bit was when her Spectre Hal erased everyone's memory of who Wally was, and it just kind of messed everything up. And so like he erased even Wally's memory of it. So when he showed her like all of those memories came back, she's like, whoa, I gotta go. And then but then she comes back and then they're good again. And then like same thing with Barry and Iris. Outside of the old CW show, Iris is awesome and just very, like very cool and supportive. And it's like, and Barry's like, yeah, I'm pretty cool and supportive too. And so I, and then
we are cool and supportive.
Yeah. And then Superman and Lois, because again, there's like a cool stable to like, oh yeah, we're both awesome people that are together. And then last one, it's gonna be Ralph and Sue, outside of,
I knew that was going to be on your list.
Outside of Identity Crisis, they've always just great love story.
Thanks, Brad Meltzer.
Yeah. What
All
about you,
right.
man?
Well, all 4 of mine come from DC.
Mine too.
Yeah. Uh, we've got Hawkman and Hawkgirl because that is a love that expanded multiple lifetimes. They always find each other, and I think that's great. And I'm gonna go with Dick Grayson and Barbara Gordon. I like their dynamic. Starfire's fine too. I like the two of them, you know.
I was hoping that was gonna be like your next one. My other one is Dick and Starfire.
No, it's
My
not.
third one is Dick and Huntress.
I thought about that one because I did like them in the 90s comic. But no, the next one then is Mr. Miracle and Big Barda. And then last one, I'm gonna go Tim Drake and Stephanie Brown. That was a roller coaster of a relationship, but one that was pretty real for the most part, apart from parents being heroes and villains. And it was just a joy to read. So,
except like, I mean, the only time where that one really sucked was like towards the end, where it was just like DC doesn't know what to do with Stephanie or Tim. So it's just like a flat, like 2-mile-per-hour roller coaster where it's like, okay, no, it ends all the way over there. Well, we got this for a good bit.
Right, I agree. But when it's good, it's real good. Okay, that's the end of the episode.
Yeah, man.
So let's go through the closing plugs. If you would, please go to facebook.com/2worldspodcast and give the page a like. You can also follow us on Twitter at 2_worlds_PC and on Instagram at 2worldspod. You can email us at 2worldspodcast@gmail.com. And if you would, please go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. That is just 2 Worlds Podcast on YouTube.
And leave us a comment about who you think is the best couple in comic books. And, if it's not blue and gold, then we won't hear it.
I know. I almost thought about saying that, but I was like, maybe he will.
I mean, their love transcends time, if you ask me.
That is absolutely true. All right. Well, we'd love to stay in chat, but we have to go seal the 3 tails, and that's going to take us a while. So we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
All 3 of them. Bye, guys.